How long have you been operating Turtle Island open to the public with visitors coming?
Well, you know, that's an interesting question because we're not really open to the public.
There is a God. So I've lived a whole life living naturally and in a way that I believe in, living my passion. And I like sharing that passion and that way of life with other folks.
1 minute ago, the Rangers revealed shocking discoveries about Eustace Conway. While Eustace pretended to be the indifferent mountain man who wasn't interested in fame, behind the scenes, he was busy covering up a lot of crimes. Deep inside the wilderness lies the truth of a man who has turned his back against the world. Could this be the end of Eustace Conway? What discoveries did the Rangers make about Eustace Conway? Let's find out. As we continue with this video, be a darling and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also like this video. For a very long time, Eustace Conway has been regarded as a mysterious figure. His life and fierce nature earned him respect from others. For decades, Eustace lived off the grid. He protected his privacy and kept it from the public completely. For Eustace, cameras and his fans were banned from entering his personal thoughts and space. This was unexpected and surprised everyone who knew Eustace Conway. His fierce protection of his privacy got people more and more interested in his life. His neighbors and friends got more curious and wanted to find out what exactly Eustace Conway was hiding in Turtle Island Preserve and in his life. Unfortunately for Eustace, those secrets were going to be the end of him, and now they have been revealed, not just to his friends and neighbors, but to the whole world. Could this be the end of Eustace Conway? It all started one night. That night, Eustace Conway will never forget in his life. The discovery began very innocently. No one had any intentions of prying, but it happened. There was heavy rain, and it caused unusual depressions at the edge of the property. That day, a volunteer named Caleb was with him, and he stumbled on something unique. While working, Caleb discovered a perfectly shaped sinkhole, and as he dug, his shovel struck a hard metallic object. He was curious, and when he checked, he discovered a rusted iron hatch, marked with Eustace's personal symbols. Caleb didn't hide his discovery and brought in the rest of the team. When they pried open the hatch, a cold, musty gust of air rushed out, revealing a wooden ladder that descended into darkness. Now, they got really curious and wanted to find out the end of this mystery. In their rigorous search, they continued to draw more attention to themselves, and of course, the Rangers became involved as well. At the bottom, they found themselves in a narrow tunnel. The walls of the tunnel were reinforced with logs not hedged together in Eustace's signature style. For many years, Eustace Conway has been living on Turtle Island Preserve, but no one expected to find a secret tunnel. The symbols were carved into the beams. Jars of herbs and animal bones lined the shelves. Also, the team discovered old lanterns coated in dust. This was a clear indication to everyone that someone had either lived or worked there for a long time. This led to a big question. Who worked there, and who did Eustace Conway keep in that secret tunnel? As their search continued, they got more worried about Eustace Conway's identity. Could he have been perpetrating evil right under their noses? The tunnel system was not random. It was well planned with structure, direction, and purpose. It was Eustace's little secret. As they searched deeper, they discovered a larger chamber. The chamber was filled with tools, pickaxes, spades, and a handmade pulley system for hauling debris. They studied the craftsmanship and were shocked. It was meticulous, practical, and spiritual. It was perfect and full of details. This confirmed their suspicions that Eustace Conway was hiding something before this day. Different locals had often whispered about Eustace's mysterious disappearances into the woods, his long hours spent digging, and his different cryptic sayings. Eustace had the habit of saying that the earth was holding the secrets of freedom. With all these and the recent discovery, everyone believed that truly, Eustace Conway was up to no good. After watching the team reveal their discoveries, the locals think now that Eustace's words were not casual. His words were blueprints for a vast underground network. He meant every word, and he was digging out those secrets. Some tunnels branched off, some caved in, and others were too tight to enter. The team stopped at this point because they knew they were digging up something greater than themselves. According to them, they only scratched the surface of something much bigger, possibly decades in the making. The deeper they went, the more they saw that this wasn't a hideaway, it was a survival system designed to sustain life. When they checked the storage rooms, they saw various jars of preserved meat, animal fat, roots, and herbs, all of which bore Eustace's handwriting. Crazy discoveries, right? Who builds a tunnel and fills it with food? Well, Eustace did that. Eustace, with his great intellect, didn't build the tunnel like a normal one. The tunnel twisted sharply, and it dropped to a lower level, equipped with a handcart and pulley system. It also revealed Eustace's engineering skills. Watching the tunnel should have earned Eustace the team's admiration, but they were shocked, and they had an unsettling feeling. Why? On the walls of the tunnel were different ritualistic symbols. Some of those symbols were linked to ancient Appalachian folklore. Also, at the heart of the labyrinth was a vast chamber with a stone slab surrounded by melted candles, sage bundles, and animal bones arranged in geometric patterns. The feeling in the tunnel was an uneasy one, and everything felt so diabolical, the team claimed. The walls were covered with charcoal drawings of mountains, trees, rivers, and human figures intertwined with roots. All these things gave the space a sacred and spiritual feel. Staying in the tunnel required a lot of courage and boldness. Before they could explore further, they discovered a sealed wooden door. It was reinforced with iron bars and carved with the words, "The deeper you go, the more truth you find." Now, that statement was enough to stop them, right? They didn't stop. They continued and took their search deeper. Behind the tunnel was a concrete walled room with steel beams. Unknown to the team, they were about to receive the greatest shock of their lives. They also had military-grade supplies and fragments of radio equipment. There were different notes in Eustace's handwriting referencing coded frequencies and Skynet of freedom. Reading through his notes revealed Eustace's greatest desire to the world. The team discovered that their mystery man had an inner desire to live beyond the reach of all signals. He wanted more than life gave him and wanted to fly. There were different military crates stamped with U.S. Department of Interior, 1964. This also suggested that the tunnels may have origins predating Eustace Conway's ownership. By now, the search had become interesting and the team wanted to reach its conclusion. They broke down a concrete wall, and after doing that, they discovered another tunnel. It was a freshly cut tunnel sloping steeply downward. This fresh tunnel ended at an iron hatch near the Watauga River. It was no random escape route. It was a clear and precise operation. Later, the locals confirmed that Eustace Conway often calls this stretch of river his freedom line. There were claims that he may have designed this tunnel as an escape route to disappear into nature whenever he wanted. They also discovered another chamber before the river held circular stone patterns, and at the end, they saw a chest filled with handwritten letters and a journal. One entry read, "Freedom cannot exist above ground anymore. The world's roots are safer than its sky." There were different coordinates, and it all pointed to another remote section of the Appalachian foothills. This, of course, suggested a larger network or a symbolic message. Eustace also kept a smaller, forbidden room, and when the team broke in, they discovered different ceremonial objects, spiritual symbols, and artifacts from Cherokee traditions. Eustace's journals revealed a lot about him to the public. He spoke of the strange things that happened to him. In his journals, he wrote about hearing the heartbeat of the earth and following whispers in the soil. For Eustace, the tunnels were not just about survival or escape. They were all about preservation, memory, and connection. Different archaeologists later mapped the tunnels and revealed different figures. According to their reports, some of the tunnels formed the shape of a tree, each chamber representing survival, knowledge, and memory. This was all reflected in Eustace's teachings about harmony between humans and nature. In his journals, he referred to those tunnels as his roots of freedom. He built those journals as a silent protest against a world that forgot how to love freely. Additionally, they discovered the final tunnel that led to the river. That tunnel felt too deliberate to be accidental. Some of them believed it led to a hidden energy source, or something Eustace had discovered that could never be revealed. When the experts followed the coordinates in his final journal, they found another handcrafted tunnel miles away, which led to a simple stone chamber. The chamber had a chest containing a compass, a Bible, and a jar of soil. All these symbolized direction, faith, and the earth. His tunnels were not built to hide from the world, but to remind it what freedom feels like. Eustace's legacy, carved deep beneath Turtle Island, whispers that real freedom isn't granted by society or taken by law. However, what Eustace Conway didn't know was that this little discovery was going to get him into big trouble with the Rangers. The discoveries gave Eustace free publicity, but it was all bad publicity, and he got into a big mess with the authorities. Not long after people became aware of him, various individuals came to learn from him and explore his Turtle Island preserve. Everyone wanted to know more about the mystery man. They wanted to know how to live in a natural environment and how to go off-grid. Unfortunately, local officials ordered the place closed over health and safety concerns. What? Yes, it has been shocking, but Turtle Island Preserve might be leaving our screens completely. It started with a complaint. According to the officials from the Watauga County Planning and Inspection Department, Eustace Conway's building was reported to be an illegal one. They decided to act on the report and visited Turtle Island last fall to inspect the building. Upon arrival, they found dozens of structures for which no permits had ever been pulled. This was the beginning of Eustace's woes. The authorities conducted further investigations and discovered numerous health and safety code violations. After all these reports, the case was taken to court. Upon arrival, the county attorney presented Conway with 3 options: bring the buildings up to the minimum state standards, have an expert certify that they already meet the code, and obtain the proper permits, or tear them down. To everyone's surprise, Eustace didn't choose any of the options. What followed became a battle between the government and an individual. The whole matter escalated, and things became really complicated. Different reporters and analysts jumped on the case, and some shared that it was more than a case between Eustace and the government. It had become a case about drawing the lines between what is real and what is reality. Who do you think won the case, Eustace or the government? Please feel free to add it to your comments section. When the case became public, County Planning Director Joe Furman issued an official statement. While discussing it, he mentioned that they had only investigated Turtle Island Preserve because of an anonymous phone call they received. A week later, they also received an unmarked envelope containing a crudely drawn but highly detailed, color-coded map. The map revealed lots of buildings, road grading, and wiring. It was all allegedly done without proper permitting, engineering, or inspections. This surprised everyone because Eustace was not the type to be careless. Unlike some of his stars on mountain men who toil high in the Rockies or in the Alaskan wilderness, Eustace was hardly cut off from civilization. He knew all the laws and regulations, so seeing him defying them surprised everyone. Turtle Island Preserve was not just a land, it meant the world to Eustace. The preserve lies near the Tennessee border, just a few miles east of Boone. It has a county seat of 17,000 residents, whose population doubles when Appalachian State University is in session. Now, who would you want to lose this kind of preserve? Additionally, around the preserve were spacious, modern homes, which made it easy for Eustace to have many visitors. The location was perfect for him. The preserve's name came from an American Indian creation myth about a great turtle that saved the world's creatures from a cataclysmic flood by supporting them on its shell. In the figurative sense, Conway's website explains, "We are an island of wilderness in a sea of development and destruction." However, the local officials countered this, saying, "Not exactly." Back to Furman's report. After their investigations, he talked with Eustace about it all. Unfortunately, Eustace was adamant and unyielding, and this made him come back with a warrant and sheriff's deputies. When they came back, the investigation intensified, and Eustace's home was searched as well. The inspectors found the building lacked the minimum water and sewer connections. To make matters worse, all the buildings were constructed of wood milled on-site, not the marked graded lumber required by the building codes. After inspecting Eustace's solar panels, they found numerous faults. The solar panels power the equipment in Eustace's small office, and a micro-hydroelectric plant installed by students from ASU's Appropriate Technology program supplies a small workshop. When the inspectors checked thoroughly, they found wiring and junction boxes that were not up to code. Additionally, the team observed a wood stove with a chimney that was vented beneath a building's metal roof rather than through it. And there were numerous unpermitted outhouses intended for public use. Many buildings were not connected to the stacked stone foundations that supported them. In his 78-page report, consultant W.O. Whaley concluded that many of the buildings were not structurally sound. The property in its present state presents a hazard to the safety of anyone near any of the structures, he wrote. I would suggest obtaining a court order to vacate the property to protect the lives of the public and the interns. With all these reports from the authorities and others, Eustace was in a deep state of confusion. However, he was not the type to give in easily. Both he and his supporters argued that Furman's office was missing the point. He said, "How can I teach primitive living in modern cookie-cutter structures? Human beings have built their own houses for thousands and thousands and actually millions of years. And now we can't even build our own house with our own material that grows on our own land? That's not some regulation, that's just a county problem, that's a human rights issue. That's not all." To counter Whaley's report, Eustace posted a series of interviews with certified building inspector Drew Kelly on YouTube. During the interview, Kelly shared that most of the buildings were constructed at bare minimum above what they want regular houses to be built at. Do they fit modern-day building codes? Kelly said no, because they're not modern-day structures. When Eustace was talking, he believed there was never a complaint. According to him, there was a connection between his legal woes with the planning department and the problem he faced during the first season of Mountain Men. Does this mean Eustace has enemies lurking around even before the discoveries were made? Let's find out. During the series premiere, Eustace was asked a question. In the interview, he said, "What do I do for a living? I live for a living." This was probably when his troubles started. He also revealed that man was constantly struggling against nature. To worsen the case, Eustace's storyline reveals that his frequent adversary was the government. After the interview, he opened his mailbox to find an official-looking letter inside. He slid it open with his pocket knife and was shocked at the contents. When he opened the letter, all he saw was a court document. He was shocked. "Motion to claim exempt property?" he read from the court document in his hand. "This is crazy. The damn attorney is paying the sheriff to serve me, going to take all my land? Basically, I just got a letter saying, 'Your life is over.'" During the premiere, the announcer gave the impression that it was the government that was coming after Turtle Island. Eustace has always been able to survive living off his land, the man growled ominously, but he always struggles to pay the tax man. Ever since then, it has not been an easy one for Eustace. His struggles got worse. In a bid to raise the cash needed to lift the lien, Eustace and his interns split firewood and fence rails. It was a tough one for Eustace, but the stubborn mountain man was not ready to lose his land so easily. Both he and his friend went to the courthouse and decided to fight for the land. He arrived there to make his final stand. Unknown to Eustace, something else was waiting for him. He thought he had come to fight the court documents and the tax man, but he had one more unseen enemy, Kimberly Baker of Wilmington. Kimberly, a 28-year-old woman, had gotten severely injured while visiting Turtle Island. This hurt Kimberly a great deal, and she decided to cause trouble for Eustace. With Eustace's rising popularity, everyone wanted to visit Turtle Island Preserve, and Kimberly was no exception. Just recently, she decided to drive herself down there. She came on a retreat as part of the North Carolina Teaching Fellows program. Her visit to the place turned out great, and she was able to participate in an orientation at Turtle Island's entrance when one of Eustace's staff members pulled out a sling and started teaching them how to hurl stones. The little lecture went wrong, and a rock flew backwards. It was so severe that it ultimately caused blindness in Kimberly's right eye. Now Eustace is not just stuck with one, but 3 problems. He had to fight against a lawsuit with Kimberly. After many back and forths, Kimberly settled with 2 of Eustace's staff for a combined $400,000. Also, she made sure Eustace entered a mediated settlement agreement to pay her $75,000 and 2 mortgages on some of his land within a year to cover the amount. When the deadline passed without payment, Kimberly filed a lawsuit for breach of contract. Later, Eustace had no choice but to raise the money. This, of course, affected him financially. Different reporters tried their best to get Eustace to discuss the entire issue, but he refused. He shared that his contract with the History Channel prevents him from commenting on the correctness of situations like that. According to him, the channel loved drama and suspense, so he wasn't the one to ruin that, and a lot of the life out here is not as dramatic as they want it or need it to be. Later, while talking with Elizabeth Gilbert in her biography, The Last American Man, Eustace shared more about his situation. He said, "When I go out in public, I deliberately try to present myself as this wild guy who just came down off the mountain, and I'm aware that it's largely an act." The Eat, Pray, Love author quoted him as saying, "I know I'm a showman. I know I present people with an image of how I wish I were living, but what else can I do? I have to put on that act for the benefit of the people." Eustace's problem spread to all his fans, and a flood of hate mail followed Furman's office. It was not easy for the authorities. Different petitions were posted on their website in support of Eustace. Author Vicky Kasiorg said in Eustace's defense, "Are government officials upset that someone can survive without them?" Gradually, the state officials worked to resolve the issues with Turtle Island. Not long after that, the Republican-dominated legislature introduced a bill to exempt primitive camps and farms, which include sheds, barns, outhouses, doghouses, and other similar structures, from building codes. This law helped Eustace, and he was gradually back in business. On a recent sultry day, a dozen or so campers and interns listened intently as Conway held court in the breezeway of the main horse barn. The smell of wood smoke, stewing cabbage, manure, and sweat mingle in the steamy air as speckled chickens scratch for food in the dirt around the teacher's feet. Eustace didn't hesitate to throw jabs at the government. He said, "My problem with the government is they see that I'm teaching people about simple, natural living, and that they don't jive with their corporate sponsors, you know? So it's really important to realize that the model is something that we need to keep alive. And what I want you guys to do is go out and teach the rest of the world how to do it, because it's our birthright as human beings." The issue has become a significant concern, and people hold different views about it. Some believe the government went too far, while others believed Eustace was not innocent either. What do you think? With so many issues facing Eustace, he got into trouble with his neighbor again. You can say Eustace has a special attraction for trouble. After all the lawsuits, you will expect Eustace Conway to steer clear of troubles. But no, our dear mystery man got into another big mess with his neighbor. Not long after their little issue, Eustace got arrested. What? Shocked? Well, most people said he deserves it. For a very long time, Eustace has been a thorn in Margaret's side. She couldn't take it anymore, and this led to his arrest. Margaret A. Palms, who resides at 2473 Little Laurel Road, is Eustace Conway's neighbor. Margaret watched Eustace trespass on her land many times. Despite several warnings, he didn't budge. She reported the offense to the Watauga County Sheriff's Office. After lots of investigations, Eustace was found guilty and taken to the Watauga County Courthouse. When they got to the courthouse, Watauga County Sheriff's Deputy S. Morrison served the warrant to Conway. After this, he was brought to the Watauga County magistrates. According to the court records, Eustace unlawfully and willfully entered the premises of Palms. After being notified not to enter or remain on her property, he went and tied our gate shut so that we couldn't get out, and he put posters all over our gates, mailboxes, and fences. Then he put big wooden barriers so that we couldn't get out. He just kind of went nuts. Later, Margaret revealed that Eustace had disturbed her so much that she had no choice but to drive off her property through a one-way alley. It made things very hard for her. Margaret, an attorney and real estate agent in Boone, fought in court over a property line. She claimed Eustace was trying to claim a portion of her land. Margaret has lived on the property for 18 years, and things were going well between her and Eustace. Many people shared that Eustace and Margaret were very good friends until about 5 or 6 years ago, when they started having issues that no one knows about. He comes trespassing from time to time, and we've asked him not to. He's harassing us, Palm said. I just want him to stay away from our property. When Eustace was approached for a comment, he gave none. He mentioned that his lawyer advised him not to make any comments to the press about the trespassing charge. Do you think Eustace is innocent in this case? There are also rumors that Margaret and Eustace's relationship may have worsened because Eustace believed that Margaret was the one who reported him to Furman. This claim was later debunked by Furman, who revealed that the person was a man, not a woman, but Eustace is not ready to believe him. Eustace's life has been full of hate for the government, and he didn't hesitate to express his hate during the Helene death toll. He blamed a lot of deaths on the government. We've got piles and piles and piles of dead bodies, Conway said in the video. We've got 18-wheeler refrigerator trucks filled up with dead bodies. Why is there such a disparity between the reality of what I'm seeing here and what you're getting told. People were distressed and scared for their loved ones. Eustace ensured that everyone was aware of the government's activities. In a video he posted on his YouTube and Instagram pages, Eustace claimed that the officials were lying about the numbers. In the video, he revealed that the officials' response and recovery operations were preventing volunteers and donations from helping hurricane victims. The people that are supposed to be coming here to help the Appalachian Mountains, they're actually, literally, taking people's lives by keeping aid from getting to them, Conway claimed. Those videos spread like wildfire and have amassed more than 600,000 views and 4,500 comments on YouTube alone. In defense, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety gave an official statement. The state emergency response team has received no evidence to support any of the claims that there are significantly more fatalities than have been recorded and announced publicly. A testament to the heroic response of our first responders and emergency management officials throughout Western North Carolina, Graney told CPP in an email statement. While we join our North Carolina communities in grieving the loss of 101 of our own, it is important to note that many of our local partners have reported fatalities within their jurisdictions, and none of those reports substantiate the claims being made on many social media platforms. We have seen inaccurate social media posts claiming their information is verified, with no sources stating who verified it, and no response when questions are asked. From the actual responders from our the boots on the ground, the ones who have been involved in rescuing and recovering our people, nobody is hiding numbers. There are inflated numbers of body bags ordered, suggesting that there are many more than the public isn't being told about untrue. There is an image of a refrigerated trailer at a funeral home, insinuating there are so many, it is full. Logic would tell any of us that the funeral home also did not have power, and that is just such a contingency for normal operations at such a facility. Despite all attempts to get Eustace Conway to refute his claims, he remained unswayed. His battle with the government continues. Who do you think will win? Will this issue affect Eustace Conway's life entirely? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.